Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If Sagittarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. All right, we've got the Knight of Swords. You're somebody that's, I think, been thinking a lot about the future, okay? Trying to imagine the path that you're on and how it will develop, how it will progress, and maybe what the goals are, okay? You're somebody that has I think, a lot of plans for the future. But I feel like we have a lot of ideas about what we want, ideas about things that could happen, things that we would be good at. But I wonder if we need to sort of organize those thoughts and those ideas, you know? And maybe that's what this card's trying to do, you know, trying to organize all of your thoughts, all of your plans, all of these ideas. Maybe consider writing them down in a notebook, drawing up some plans, doing like one of those word clouds, you know, or something like a mind map. Because I feel that there's, you know, sort of a need for organizing. There's a need. It's almost like we're getting an idea of the destination, but we've got to get a little bit of a navigation sort of map set up. Okay, I feel like you're somebody who is usually very sort of quick to act. You know, you're very decisive. And maybe you don't always plan everything out so well. I don't think that you've always needed to. I think that usually you have an idea, you run with it, it works out. But I wonder if right now there's a lot of things that you could do. There's a lot of things you're good at. There's a lot of things you want. How do we prioritize? How do we focus on one or other of these objectives or goals, or how do we put them in order, even like a step-by-step sort of thing? Now let's put this card into some context. This is, it's a court card. It could mean a lot of things. It does mean a lot of things. And we got to see how this relates to you. Next we have, there we go, that's nice. A Six of Pentacles is very good. A Four of Swords, yeah. High Priestess. The Moon card, and yes, very good, a Knight of Pentacles. So with the Knights are always looking at the future. Okay, the Knight of Swords is looking at the future as an idea, looking at the future as maybe a possibility, starting to sort of put together the component pieces of it to sort of get that picture. And then the Knight of Pentacles, of course, is looking at that same future, but now it's sort of it's taking on form. It's clothed in a body of material, you know, practical, real stuff. So I think that it's kind of taking the idea that we have of the future, and now we're really forming it in practical terms. So it's something that's becoming now like more real, more possible. Like this is going to happen. You know, this is actually going to work. And we're starting to do that. And I think what we need in between, maybe with this Four of Swords and the Six of Pentacles, is to start with the plan. You know, start making sort of it's sort of, in a way, it's like writing a book, I guess, right? Where we sort of have the general idea of what the story is, and then we're sort of, we're able to sort of fill in more of the details of what it looks like. But we still need that sort of outline about how we get from the beginning of the book to sort of flesh out the whole story, you know. Let's keep going anyway. We've got, an 8 of Pentacles. Very nice. 4 of Wands. See, the thought becomes action here. We have a Prince of Cups. Interesting, yeah. I like that water. Yeah, nice. The 4 and the 4. We have the 6 and the 6. We've got the Knight and the Knight. This is very good. This is very good. I think that it's sort of showing you how you can take these, I want to call them ideas, but I feel like they're inspirations, you know, how you can take these inspirations or ideas and we can put them into practical steps to realize them, to create them, to manifest them. Okay. I really like that we have that. These are really good. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor, infinite and unknown. It's going to go right here with our little octopus friend, the 8 of Tentacles. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. All right, let's do it together. Let's exercise that intuition. Let's take a look around the room. Interesting what we have here in terms of major arcana. We've got the Moon and the High Priestess, which in effect are the new moon and the full moon. This is a waxing moon, the growing of the psychic energy, the widening of the psychic aperture, and the moon card is the waning moon, the darkening of the light, the dimming of the closing of the third eye, the narrowing of the psychic aperture. Okay. I find that it's sort of interesting when we have both of these cards together because we think of I don't know too much about photography, but an aperture on a camera, the wider it gets, I feel like it takes in more of the details of the immediate surroundings, but it can't really see far away. It's like me without my glasses, you know. We can see what's right around us in very, very good detail, but we don't have the distance vision, okay? If it narrows, we can see further into the distance, but I lose the details of what's going on right here, right? I think that's sort of how the apertures work on a camera. Correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. The idea here is that we're trying to do both, and it's rather difficult. I think what you have with the High Priestess here is that widening of the aperture where you can sort of psychically see everything that's going on around you right now, right here, in the present, okay? And then what your goal is now, what you're trying to do now is take all of that intuition, knowledge, wisdom, insight, that sort of spiritual download, the realization of perhaps all the resources you have, just everything that's in your sort of present world, trying to take that and then narrow your vision down to look at the future. And that's what our knights are doing, trying to peer into the future, you know. So it could be that we are intentionally working right now to narrow our focus, to not be so concerned or involved and or not to be overwhelmed by the impressions of the world around us right now as it is, but to sort of dim the light around and just focus our light straight ahead into the future so you can see where you're going with each of these ideas. It could be that the High Priestess is showing you just hundreds of ideas, hundreds and infinite, really, possible paths for you right now, possible choices. And maybe that's part of this, is that we have too many choices. Yeah. And so dimming that energy down and focusing on the sort of one possible future at a time, maybe giving you a way to sort through all of this psychic data, figure out what path you want to go. So I like the major arcana that we have, and it really is trying to find our way, you know, using our consciousness, using our discernment, using our psychic energy, our intuition, our instinct, all these things combined. We've got over here some fire. We've got some water up here. We've got a little bit of air, these two. And then we've got, we've got 1, 2, 3 earth cards. Okay. So the Six of Pentacles, I feel like, is, I think, the right alignment of things. This is like trying to focus your energy, first of all, I think, on those aspects of your environment that are really useful. It's like you're going camping and you have to sort of figure out what you need to take with you. You can't bring your entire house with you. It wouldn't be camping, right? So it's kind of like knowing or having the insight or the inspiration to know what you got to take with you, to know what you need on this journey, what components are going to make this as successful as possible. This is a Six of Pentacles. It is material success. What tools do you need to be successful right now? Let's work on gathering those. Okay? And maybe, yes, maybe first we need to know sort of what path we're on, where we're going, right? This is a path that's going to be financially successful for you. I feel that you're being instructed to sort of to accept the right sort of help. To the six to me is sort of like building the dream team. You know, it's like the all-star team here. And I think that this is a lot of, it doesn't not just people necessarily, but all sorts of things, right? That we need in order for our particular path to function properly. So this is people, but it's also resources and, you know, money and this sort of time, all this sort of thing. But sort of like to know what you need, you have to know where you're going. Yeah. And maybe you've done that work. Maybe this is the idea that you already have this sort of vision of the future, and now you're in the mode of gathering resources before you sort of take another look at the future, and you can see it coming together in a more detail, I guess, and then we can set off on the journey. Okay, but right now you're being told to accept the generosity of others. Make sure you're not being careless. Okay, make sure that you are sort of accepting the resources, the people, the places, the circumstances that Spirit is putting on your path right now. And it's kind of the idea that once we know where we're going and we start sort of, we commit to that direction, things are going to start coming together because you know what you're looking for now. You know what you need, and I think you're going to recognize that because everything we need is around us or within us. We can either acquire it or we can create it. And so knowing what we need, knowing where we're going is an essential step here. Okay? But this is going to be really big. Okay? We might be talking about some sort of like literal property or some sort of real estate thing or some larger financial situation. Okay? Spirit's also saying that you have a lot of things in storage. I feel like you have a lot of, I see somebody that's kind of going to a storage unit and rolling up the door and there's just stuff everywhere. And it's like, okay, I need this supplies, I need these things over here. I'm packing, I got a duffel bag. I'm like putting stuff together, you know? So I feel like you have a lot of resources already. It's just a matter of knowing what we need. Okay. The Four of Swords underneath the surface is, I feel like it's the need for, because, you know, anytime we get a 5, we start looking around, or anytime we get a 4, we start looking around for the 5. Yeah. And so we need something to bridge the gap here between the 4s and the 6s. So we need that 5 in between because the 4s are sort of a restful state, and then we need some sort of action so we can get to the next restful state of the 6, of beauty, harmony, and real success, sort of best day ever energy, right? But we've got to get from here to there. So with the 4 of Swords, I feel like we need a 5 of Swords. We need some sort of active card here. And we don't have any odd numbered cards, do we? We've got 2, we've got 18, we've got 4s, 8s, and 6s, and of course our court cards. But the court cards, incidentally, are 1, 2, 3. There's 3 of you. So that, maybe is referring to this idea of we have to collaborate in the right way. We need the right people with us to get this thing moving. That maybe is going to the right team. Perhaps that dream team energy is what's going to bridge the gap between the planning and the sort of goal, the success, the beauty. There's a lot of light at the end of this tunnel, you see. The 6 of Pentacles is one of the best cards. This is the card that says you're having the best day ever. This is the most successful you've ever been. This is a peak experience of life. And the 6 of Cups at the end is you actually realizing this and feeling that feeling. It's one thing to say, that's out there, I'm going to go get it. It's another thing to satisfy this desire. To actually get this produces the 6 of Cups, right? And so at the end of the day here, you are achieving this. Okay. Now, Spirit's saying there's something about a silver car. I don't. If you drive a silver car and somebody in your life is a bit of a gambler. I don't know who that is, but there's see silver car and a lot of gambling going on. Discernment is needed greatly. Okay. We've got to get from this sort of, maybe this is like a sort of a planning phase. We've got to get from here to the actual doing, to the action, okay? And I think we are. I think that's why we've got our 8 of Pentacles over here and our 4 of Wands here, but it's still not signifying the action necessarily. Maybe we'll get some either fire cards here or some sort of odd-numbered card for the mystery card, okay? It almost feels like the 4 of Swords is you interviewing people. It almost feels like you're sort of in this restful place that maybe we have the plan fleshed out, and it's just a matter of building the team, getting the things together, and starting the action, And so maybe in this 4, maybe it is sort of implied that there's a 5 of Swords, which would be interaction, okay? Which would be you trying to figure things out. But I don't feel like there's a plan lacking, but maybe the 4 is also saying that we need to work on the plan a little bit more. Okay, that we need to get some of the specifics. It's like one thing to say, you're trying to figure something out and you say, well, yeah, I need some money and then I'm going to go do all these things. I'm going to travel, or I need a little bit of money, then I'm going to start the business, I'm going to build the business up. All right, that's a plan, but we need some more details. How much money do you need? How do you propose to get it? Once you get the money, what does it mean to build the business, right? Is this an online? Do you need to do a website? Have you called people to do that? Like these little details that are very important. We get over here, we got the 8 of Pentacles. So there's a plan, and then there's the plan, right? So we've got the major arcana, which we talked about. The High Priestess in the background. Here's a lot of inspiration. I think that how much you're capable of. You know what you are inspired to do, and I think that this card is a lot of inspiration. I think that you have probably a very, very active psychic life. You probably do tarot readings and divinations and things like this. I feel like you're constantly receiving downloads from Spirit. You're constantly getting synchronicities and confirmations from the world around you that you're on the right track. You are always sort of inviting Spirit to show you around, show you what's what. I think you have a strange skill of some kind, right? You have some sort of a talent or something. I almost feel like I don't know, I almost feel like maybe you are like literally psychic, but it's like, you ever kind of hear that joke or whatever where it's like, Yeah, I can predict the future, but only 2 seconds into the future, you know? I feel like you have something that's sort of funny or strange that you can do in that way. It's almost like you can, I don't know. I don't know if you can just, I don't know. I feel like you're someone that, like, I can hold up, you know, I can hold, like, how many fingers am I holding up, you know, that you can intuit that you have that ability. I don't know what that is, but it's some sort of a psychic talent or something is what I'm getting. I don't know what that means exactly. But I think it's part of this idea that you have this ability to see what's right around you right now, and what you need is this sort of long distance vision. It's like we're sort of, what is it, psychically nearsighted, right? We need the longer distance. And right now the longer distance seems a little dim. We got this moon card up here. It seems like I don't know what's going to really happen. I don't know how this is going to turn out. It seems like we're sort of peering into a void. We're staring into an abyss, and I don't know what I need. Spirit's trying to show you all the resources that you have, the right team, the right people, places, and things, you know, that you could possibly need on your journey. And I feel that there's a moment where you sort of stop worrying about it. We're never going to be all that certain about what's coming next in our lives. There's no guarantees, right? There is no such thing as absolute certainty. So anything worth doing is a step into the void, is a step into the unknown, is a step into the dark, scary forest of the moon card. That try as we might, we could never have that real sharp distance vision, you know, that eagle eye about the future. We'll never really have it. I mean, humans, we're kind of known for our shoddy eyesight, right? But I think that we get enough of a picture that we can say, all right, I know where I'm going. I know at least maybe you've decided on a goal, right? Which I think that you have, because we have these cards here that are trying to look into the future. And I think you see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not so easy to get the details right. You know, it's sort of, this is when when I'm driving at night, you know, this is what I see. My night driving is nuts. It's getting worse. My eyes are getting dim as I get older. But we can't exactly see all of the details of the future. That's actually upside down. But we can see enough that we can embark on our journey. Okay? And I think the Four of Swords is sort of saying that too, that we're not stressing out so much about all of those details. We're doing what we can, and maybe we are always going to be a little bit nearsighted. Okay, well, I can't see a year, 5 or 10 years into the future, but I can see a few months, and so that's what I'm going to focus on. We want to have that long-term vision to see the entire path from here, you know, thousands of years into the future. We never will, right? So when we get to the Knight of Pentacles, you do your best. You know, I can see very clearly about this far away. Beyond this, it starts to get a little blurry. That's okay. All the stressing that I do, all the squinting, right? Let's say a Five of Swords would be the squinting. All the squinting I do is not going to help me. So I might as well just relax my eyes, right? And say, okay, I can see a certain distance, and that's what I'm going to go with, and I'll revisit this in a month or 6 months, and I'll look again. Or I'll look a little bit every day, you know? And so we can adapt and we can change. And right now, 6 months, these are the things that I need. But beyond that, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Okay? That's going to take us over to the path of the Serpent now. And as we talk about these cards, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. It doesn't cost anything. It supports the channel. I also have Dove and Serpent bedtime stories. So go subscribe over there. I do like 1 or 2 readings every week. And it's a lot of fun. I think the stories are nice. They're kind of short, so it's not going to take up too much more of your time than I already do. The Eight of Pentacles. Trying to get those fine details. You know, it's sort of like I said before about how we can have a general plan and say, okay, I want to get from where I am now, I want this success. I want to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. I want the material success. I want to have, you know, I want to earn the most money I've ever earned in my life. Okay, that's a plan. I love that plan. That is an amazing plan. What are the details? How is that going to actually look? Well, I'm gonna go out there. I'll do some work or something, and you know, I'll start something. I'll build something up. I'll put in a lot of hours, and I'll get the most money I've ever made. Okay, it's a little bit more detailed there. It's a little bit more thought out. But we still don't really know where to start. You know, so we need something, and maybe this is the point that we have to sort of look. Let's say in the next week, what can we do this week to get started? Like, what's literally who can I call right now? What do I've got to get started right now? You know, it's like you're trying to do landscaping on your property, and I don't know. I feel like there's some sort of property going on with you. Like there is some sort of real estate thing. You're trying to do landscaping on your property, and it's just like, well, I imagine there's some trees over here, and I want to redo the driveway, and I want to have some planters. I want to garden somewhere. Those are good plans. A little bit vague. What do you mean? Well, okay, I want certain types of trees. I want a garden of certain size right here. Okay, great. Now, who do we call? We've got to start getting some prices. We've got to start making a list of what we need. Right? What are the tools that we need? Who do I have to call to come over and help me? These are those little details that we need to know. It's not enough to just say, I want to landscape the house or the yard or whatever. We've got to figure that out. And maybe we only really can see so much of the vision. And that's okay. Let's work on what we got. Let's work on what we can see. Let's make a detailed plan or a vision, and maybe this is part of that vision. We can't see the entire picture, but I can see from 6 months out, I can see what I want to have happen. I can see the details. Now I've got to figure out with my air energy who I have to call, what tools I have to buy, what kind of trees I need to get, or what kind of wood I need to get, or whatever, or what kind of company I need to call. Let me get some phone numbers. Let me get some estimates in, like start doing these practical things. Actual steps that are going to get there, because you can't just wake up one day in the future and say, today's the day I'm going to do the landscaping in the yard. We've not prepared at all for it. All right, what do we do? And so I think that happens quite a bit, and then we get discouraged because there's no progress being made. So really, I like having a couple estimates in for projects that I want to do down the road. I have a huge lists and notes and everything, all these things that I want to do in life, and I've already filled in some of the details about how that's going to happen. I'm trying to do these tarot reading instructional courses on the website. I don't know if I told you about that. I'm hoping they'll be done by Christmas, but it's moving rather slowly because I'm a very busy dude. But it's something that if I want to have it done, if I want to complete something, and maybe I'm saying, okay, 3 months out, I want to at least have a certain portion of it done. I know what I have to do. I have those details. I have the resources put together that I need. It's just a matter now of doing it and organizing things, and really starting to check things off my list. And that's the Four of Wands. We're starting to check things off our list. And this is it. Once we see things getting done step by step, once I'm able to start checking things off my list and say, wow, okay, I'm making some progress here, we get encouraged, right? And I think that right now the Four of Wands is saying that we've got to start somewhere, even if it's just making a couple of phone calls and getting a couple of estimates in. Okay, well now you know about what it would cost and et cetera. Or if you're building a business or a website, or you're looking for a certain kind of future, a certain kind of job, it's like, okay, I need to sort of narrow it down. If I want a certain kind of job, let me figure out what the radius is that I'm willing to travel to go to this job. And let me figure out what kind of companies are in that radius, and let me go take a look at their website and, and write down their names and phone numbers or whatever. That's something. That's encouraging. That's at least something that you can show yourself to say, we're doing it. We're getting there. We're making progress, right? And I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a work thing, career thing, could be a relationship, could be a family thing. I think there's also this need for you to collaborate. Okay? I think there are other people here, whether they're coworkers or family members or friends. You're sort of putting together this dream team, and it might be sort of a sort of a band of misfits a little bit, but that's okay. The idea here is that everybody's bringing something important to the table. Okay? Everybody who is involved here has something important to contribute. Okay? And I think it's Spirit saying that you've got to look at it that way. It may not be the NBA All-Star team, but everybody is a necessary part of your team. Okay? The fear, worry, and concern, or the obstacle here, I think, is you staying committed to the path, you staying sort of in love with this path, even when things get a little rocky. Okay, we have fixed water energy here, and that's your concern. Your concern is that, what if it becomes too difficult? What if the progress is too slow? What if you fail? What if there are setbacks? What if you fall out of love with this thing? What if those setbacks and things like that sort of push you out of love with this? And we could be talking about a romantic relationship or a family thing or a work thing or a creative project. It doesn't matter. But to have this card in this position is us saying, I'm kind of worried about my emotional commitment here. Okay? These cards are thinking about the future. This card is thinking about the present. And maybe right now in the present, you feel deeply in love with this. You feel committed. You feel like this is your baby. This is your thing, and it feels good. It's not always going to feel good. There will be days where you hate this work that you do, that you really don't feel good about anything about it, where you don't feel motivated or inspired, or that's okay. That's the obstacle for us to get over. We have to stay committed and consistent. We got to show up every day, even when we don't want to, okay? In order for you to get that Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is all pleasure. The Six of Cups is the happiest you've ever been. This is a peak experience of satisfaction because you have achieved something. You've achieved that Six of Pentacles. Now, is this the long-term goal? No, I don't think. It's not the Ten of Pentacles, right? Which is what the Knight of Pentacles is looking at in the future. But it's progress. It is a huge milestone. It is so far the very best day you've ever had. So far, the very most money you've ever earned. But it's not the limit. It's not the end. There's still more of the path for you to follow, see? So let's look at the mystery card. This is what it's all about. The Knights always look at the future, okay? And in this case, I feel like the Knight of Swords is looking at the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords doesn't seem like a good card, does it? No, but it to me is sort of, it shows the plan itself, but without the details. It's like you got the outline of your novel. And then the Knight of Pentacles is looking at the Ten of Pentacles. We're clothing that plan in a body of flesh. We're taking that rough outline and we're giving it details. We're giving it life. We're fleshing it out, see? So what are we going to see in the mystery card? Well, I think it's going to be an odd number. I think it's going to be a 3, maybe a 7 or a 9. But I'm thinking 3 of anything. Or it'll be one of our 10s. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see. Yeah, the 10. The 10 of Pentacles. Your absolute best life. That is your long-term goal. That is kind of saying the closer you get, the more clear everything will become. So don't worry about it so much now. If you're only looking 3 or 6 months out right now, fine. Focus on that. Maybe this is that idea of 6 months. I can't see 10 years in the future, but let's go 6 months. Let's make this 6. In 6 months, you're going to have the most money you've ever earned, the best day you've ever had, the most success you've ever experienced, right? The best day of your life right here. And let's say, you know, whatever, if it's 3 months or 6 months or if it's tomorrow, right? Whatever your timeline is. It's okay that you don't see the long-term distance, you know, sort of details. Because this is the vanishing point of perspective, right? Things go so far out into the distance, it's infinite, that it just disappears. You can't see anything that far out, which implies that there is no limit here. That your efforts don't have to have an end goal that you can then sort of see all the details with. So when we're talking about having the vision of, you know, let's say a 10 of swords, and then we're fleshing it out with our 10 of pentacles, that 10 is an arbitrary endpoint. The 10s in the tarot imply infinity. Okay? It's just because we count with base 10, decimal system, all that stuff, right? That for us, we count on 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then there's a lot. It just, I don't know, there's many, right? Some cultures count in a base 2. There's 1, there's 2, and then there's a whole bunch. Or base 12, 11, 12, and then, you know, a ton, an infinite number, a great many of them, right? So it's not just an arbitrary sort of limit. This is the end goal, this is the long-term goal that we have. The closer we get, that's going to take on a different form. We're going to see more of the details. Maybe we're going to push it out a little bit further. Maybe we get here and we say, okay, I don't want to do this sort of thing anymore now. Maybe now I want to start something brand new, start a new business, start a charity, a foundation, start a new work, start a new family. I don't know. You know, do something else. But it's not just saying, well, you know, you got your 10 pentacles, that's it. That's all you get in life. You're not rationed with your pentacles, right? So I like this. I'm very glad that we've got this card as our confirmation card. You're doing great things, Sagittarius. Really, really great things. We're going to do a great thing, and that's an extended reading. If you want to stick around for that, there's a link in the corner. There's one in the video description. New readings for Sagittarius, Wednesday and Sunday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything. Subscribe over to Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories as well. Trying to get that channel rolling, right? Trying to get that off the ground. Leave a comment. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.